Hi, I'm Jamie, Fort Vancouver Regional Library's experiential learning librarian. The library is pleased to host Jefferson Greene, Executive Director of the Columbia River Institute for Indigenous Development Foundation. There are several materials and techniques used to make a Columbia River basket. Here, Jefferson has provided a unique way to learn basic weaving using a modern paper cup that differs in its usage.
So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to have your cup that you've already cut and the 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch slits. And then you're going to have your yarn. And you want to get to the ends of the yarn and put them together. And then holding and pinching, you're going to want to pull the ends to where now they're together. You have the ends and you have the loop. What you want to do with this loop is you're going to want to put it over one of these slits right here and pull it all the way down to the bottom where it looks like that. Now you have 2 strings, one on the nuwitpa, one on the right, wakatsalpa, one on the left. So if you're right-handed, you most likely want to go left to the right. If you're left-handed, you probably want to go right to the left. Today, for this demonstration, I'll be going left to right. And it's quite simple. What you're going to do is take the left string, you're going to go in front of the slit, but behind this one. And kind of pull it, and then pull it down. Now you're back to where you started. Take the left one, go in front of this one, but behind this one, and pull it down. And you're going to take the left one, go in front of this one, and go behind this one. Take the left one, go in front of that one, but behind this one. Take the left string, go in front of this one, but behind this one. And you're going to continue this technique all the way around. And this is a very basic way to weave using this technique and medium. And now we're back to where we started. And then you'll just continue around with the string. If you'd like to go into a more advanced way, is you could pull the string, put your finger in between, twist, put your thumb in between the strings and underneath your index finger and pull it open so wide that you grab this one and pull it down. Same thing, index finger underneath, twist, thumb underneath your index, between the strings, separate, grab this slit and pull it down. And you're going to continue to be back in where you started. This is, for some, an easy, faster technique to do it that way. But if you're more comfortable with the first technique, feel free to continue down that way. So we'll continue on. And just gonna pull the string, not too tight. If you get too tight, it'll start to bunch up. So you just want to pull it snug enough to be able to make sure that it is behind the slit and continuing forward. And so, as you'll notice, I twist, separate largely, and I'm pulling this one over here to assure that it goes behind there, and then this one right here is pulling the string down. So twist, and down, twist, and down, twist, and down, and twist, and down. So as you notice, I've now gone around twice. Using your thumbs, you can put one thumb inside and one thumb out, because if you look real closely, there are some gaps. And if you keep those gaps throughout the whole project, then they will continue to show up and it'll get harder to push down. So as you go back to one of the first examples, you see how there are no gaps because the strings have all been pushed down. And you don't have to do this after every round, but at least every so often. So what you do is you put your thumb on the string on the inside and the thumb on the same string on the outside, and you push down. All the way around the cup. You just slightly push it down, and again, the tighter you pull the strings, the harder it would actually be to push these strings down. So they're a little bit closer together, but we will continue forward. So again, we can go back to the first technique, in which take this string and go and forward and back, 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 forward and back. And of course, you'll see some more gaps showing up, so you could just calmly push those down. Because eventually when you continue on, you will almost forget where you started. But you don't necessarily need to pay attention to where you started and ended. You really just want to go all the way through to where the yarn has been all used up. So, and then we could continue once it is all used up, and we can add another. So now you've gotten this far and you just have a couple of yarn pieces hanging off. Don't strain yourself about trying to weave these last ones in. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and tie these into a knot, but you don't want this knot to be on the outside, okay? As a refresh, if you see this one, there are absolutely no knots on the whole cup, and that's because they're on the inside. Same with this one. There are no knots on the outside because they're on the inside. So we want this one to look nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie this, but there's a little trick. You can choose to put one string on the inside, and that way when you pull it, it's going to pull this knot to the very edge of the slit. And if you want, you could pull that even inside. So here we go. And you'll go ahead and tie it right here. And so there you are. And you could pull this knot to the inside and take your pair of scissors and just cut the inside. Not too close, but to a point where you at least have a little bit. So there you are. If you'd like, take the opportunity to go around and push some of your strings down. And now you're ready to start your next row of a different color, or we will try two colors. So now that we've gotten this far, now it's time to try out a couple of new strings. This will be putting two strings together. You find the tips, and then you do a twist knot by putting it in here, and then twisting those together. And then you're going to put this inside and use the same technique to go left over front. So, if you continue around, it'll make this design. As you can see, there is a design to where it's actually going to make a line all the way up. It's kind of like a swirled line design. You will have to turn the cup a little bit if you want to make the block design. You'll have to add a little bit of an interesting technique there. So, if you continue going around using this, then you will end up with this design. But if you actually turn it to a point that you want to do blocks, then you'll go like this. You'll turn it right there, and then you'd actually go ahead and turn it again right here. You do a double twist. Twist once, again. So now it'll be gray above that one and yellow above that one. And as you continue on, you will be able to make a block design. So again, when you get to right here, you're going to do a double twist. Twist and a twist. That way you keep the gray on top. And pull with the yellow to make sure the gray goes inside. So as you can see, the gray and the gray are on top of each other. And they're going to be next to each other in order to get a block design. So here's an example of that too. So sometimes a cup will be cut a certain way to where you don't have to do a double twist to get that design. But in this example, you do have to do a double twist after this first line to continue with the block design. So as you can see, the block design is working out. So as long as you're doing a double twist next or after you do this twist. So what we're going to try now is doing a quick checkerboard design. So I've done 4 rounds to make this block, each one of these. So what we're going to do is switch it back to where this will be the last gray to go over there. But this one we're going to change to a yellow. So now that the yellow is right here, this one is going to go across. And so the top of this is going to start to be yellow. And then the top of the yellow will start to be gray. So here we are again, back at the double twist. So to make a block here, because these slits are either odd or even, either way, the yellow does have to be on top of this block, but the yellow also needs to be there. So what you're going to do is twist and twist. And then pull that yellow inside. So now there's a yellow in between. And then twist again. And then you'll continue with the same pattern to make sure that you're doing a checkerboard design. So here we are again, back at the double twist. So to make a block here, because these slits are either odd or even, either way, the yellow does have to be on top of this block, but the yellow also needs to be there. So what you're going to do is twist and twist. And then pull that yellow inside. So now there's a yellow in between. And then twist again. And then you'll continue with the same pattern to make sure that you're doing a checkerboard design. So here we are again, where you're going to need to do a double twist to assure that yellow ends up here and ends up there. So twist and twist. And then put the gray behind and pull the yellow to the inside. And now you have a yellow there. And a yellow there. So we've got back to here where it's the yellows and the grays and the yellows. This is the last yellow, and we're gonna put a gray just above this. So we're doing yellow, 4 gray, 4 yellow. And that's as far as going around. So I've gone around 4 times because there's 4 layers of yarn. So we're going to do a twist and another twist to assure that yellow goes on top of the yellow. And then we continue from there. And then if we want to put a gray right here, then we continue. But I'm gonna actually go back because I want a gray right here. We're gonna go ahead and just continue with just 1 twist. So if you want a certain color to go right here and do the squares, then you do a double twist. But instead, we're gonna do a checkerboard design, or a mountain design, as some would call it, and go from there. Now that we're back to where we started again, we want a gray to be right here. And so we're gonna do a double twist to put a gray above the gray. And then continue from there. And now we're back to where we started. You twist and you twist, and that'll keep the gray in the front. Adding another layer to this, you're gonna take another piece of the yarn You're gonna find the ends, put them together, and then you're gonna pull it nice and tight and find the loop. And then you're gonna want to put the loop over a yellow and pull it down, because this is where you're gonna start anyhow. So we're gonna actually go yellow, checkerboard, yellow, and the rest right here will be gray, and then we'll choose another color for here. So again, it's already in the middle, twist, open it, and go down. Or again, if this works better, to go in front of and behind, in front of and behind, in front of and behind. That works fine as well. So now that we've gotten this far, we're gonna add a double color and potentially do a checkerboard design on the top again. So again, we'll have these two and put the ends together, and I just do a twist knot. Again, a twist knot, and put these through that little hole. And then I push this knot up all the way to there and try to pull it tight. And then this knot has to go on the inside with the other knots. So we will just choose anywhere where we'd like. Maybe you know exactly where you left off. And then you're gonna put the knot inside. And then go ahead and start going. So now that we've made it this far, we can actually pull these tips up. And again, all the knots are on the inside. And cut kind of short. Some folks will put buckskin inside or other materials, silky material on the inside, and just kind of sew it to the edge here. And so what we'll do is grab a pair of scissors and just cut the edges. Cut about, we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or however many you'd like, all the way around. And that way, at the end, it'll look like these ones. So let's continue. So here's the end result with the knots inside and all the way around. Again, if you have little spots, you're welcome to work it in and push it. If you have any white spots, you could just push the yarn down and continue forward. And so if you do weave it significantly tight, you will have these little deformities. Like this part right here is kind of bulgy a little bit. This part right here might be kind of in a little bit, and that part might kind of stick in a little bit, but they're great for picking huckleberries, maybe put a little small roots, maybe some corn, maybe some pencils, and sorts like that. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Wuppus making class, Making Baskets with Jefferson Greene, Executive Director of the Creed Foundation. I look forward to seeing you soon in person. Be safe, be well, and I'll see you again.